Oh, well. Thought you didn't notice.
You bumped into us twice. How could I help?
Not that it makes much difference to you, but she happens to be a very charming little lady. She has a sweet and kind disposition, and she knows how to behave herself.
It's funny she couldn't get a better date on a Saturday night.
And she has an excellent mind.
Well, why doesn't she use it?
I'll tell you how. You're probably compensating for something.
I am not, and don't you try any of your psychiatry on me!
Oh, if I could try something on you just once, just to see if you'd melt under any circumstances. No, I doubt it.
You'll never know.
Because you interest me. As a case history, that's all. I'd like to know where you get that inflated ego.
Meanest case history. Inflated ego!
Oh, come on, let's finish this.
Leave me alone!
What?
Chumley's rest! Oh, no, Sergeant. No, nobody got on him in town. Mr. Dowd.
Miss Kelly, these flowers are for you.
Oh, thank you.
You'll find they're quite fresh. I just picked them outside.
Chumley, white dahlias. Did Dr. Chumley go into the house?
Not knowing, I cannot state. Those flowers look lovely against your hand.
I don't usually wear orange, it's such a trying colour.
Any colour, my dear.
Thank you.
Not at all.
Did Dr. Chumley go into the office?
Oh, I don't know. Where is Dr. Sanderson?
Oh, I don't know. His office, I think.
Miss Kelly, Mr. Dowd.
I've got a cab waiting outside. It's possible for you and Miss Kelly to get away now.
Where is Dr. Chumley?
Oh, is he coming too? Splendid. You see, I must apologise for being a little late. You see, I felt that Miss Kelly here needed some flowers. And after what happened out here this afternoon, Doctor, these flowers should have really come from you. Ah, my boy, as you grow older, pretty women pass you by, you will think back with deep gratitude of these generous girls of your youth. Shall we go?
Just a minute,
As you say.
Mr. Dowd. The situation's changed considerably since this afternoon. I urge you to bear no resentment. Dr. Chumley is your friend. He only wants to help you.
That's kind of it. All I want is to help him too.
If you'll begin by taking a cooperative attitude, that's half the battle. We all have to face reality, Dowd, sooner or later.
Reality? I've wrestled with reality for 40 years, Doctor, and I'm happy to state that I finally have reality just where I want it.
There you are. Upstairs, buddy. We're going upstairs.
I'm afraid there must be some mistake, Mr. Wilson. You see, Miss Kelly, Dr. Sanderson and I are going down to Charlie's place for a drink. Were you more than happy to come with us? They have a floor show.
Oh, yeah? Wait till you see the floor show we've got. Upstairs.
Just a minute. Where did you say Dr. Chumley went tonight?
As I said before, he didn't confide his plans.
What? You mean the doctor hasn't shown up yet? Well, where is he?
Well, that's what we're trying to find out.
You better start talking, or I'm going to start beating some answers out of you.
I'd rather you didn't do that, Mr. Wilson. In fact, I'd rather you didn't even mention such a thing in front of a beautiful young lady like Miss Kelly.
Mr. Dowd. Dr. Chumley went into town to pick you up. That was 4 hours ago.
My, where has the evening gone?
That's smart, eh?
Mr. Dowd, did you see Dr. Chumley tonight?
Yes. He came into Charlie's place at dinner time. Now, that's a cosy spot. Let's all go down there and have a drink.
We're going no such place. Now, if you don't start talking, I'm going to ask you some questions and I need some answers. If you don't button your lip and start giving me them, I'm going to beat them out of you.
But what you suggest is impossible, Mr. Wilson.
What was that?
You asked me to button up my lip and give you some straight answers. It can't be done.
Find out where the doctor is.
Did Dr. Chumley go into Charlie's place tonight?
Yes, and I was very pleased to see him. He asked me, and naturally the proprietor brought him over. I said, "Good evening, Dr. Chumley." He said, "Good evening, Mr. Dowd." I believe he said that at least once.
Yeah, go on.
I'm trying to be factual. Then I introduced him to Harvey.
To who?
A white rabbit, 6 feet tall.
6 feet.
6 feet 1.5. So, anyway, the doctor came down to sit with us, and I was sitting on the outside like this. Harvey was sitting on the inside near the wall, and Dr. Chumley sat down opposite Harvey so he could look at him.
Yeah, spend all night with seated arrangements.
Well, then Harvey suggested that I buy him a drink, and knowing that Harvey doesn't like to drink alone, I suggested the doctor and I joined him.
And so?
We joined him.
Yeah, then what?
We joined him again.
And then what?
Aha! We kept on joining him.
Will you skip the joining and get on with it, please?
Well, you're asking me to skip the best part of the evening.
Down. What happened, please?
Of course. Then the doctor got into conversation with Harvey. Quietly at first. But then I'm afraid the doctor somewhat raised his voice.
Yeah, why?
Well, you see, Harvey seemed to feel that Dr. Chumley should have assumed part of the financial responsibility for all the joining. But Dr. Chumley didn't seem to want to do that.
Yeah, I can believe that part of it.
Oh, no, let me carry on. This guy's got guts.
Well, I didn't want any trouble, so I decided to take the whole thing over. You see, we go down to Charlie's place quite a lot, Harvey and I. The proprietor was a fine man with an interesting outlook on life. And then the other matter came up.
Will you cut the damn double talk and just get on with it?
Mr. Wilson, you are a sincere type of person, but I'd appreciate it if you didn't use such language in front of a lovely young lady like Miss Kelly.
You're right, sir, and we're very sorry.
Ah.
Mr. Dowd, you should just start the other matter.
Ah, yes. There was a beautiful blonde woman, and Mrs. Smetsfield, and her escort sitting at the table opposite to us. Then the doctor decided that he was going to go and sit next to her and explained that they had met somewhere once before. Then her escort escorted the doctor back over to Harvey and myself and tried to point out it would be better for the doctor if he minded his own affairs. Does he know it?
Mr. Dowd, we're all very worried.
Of course. Well, you see, of course. I tried to, basically Harvey wanted to go over to Blondie's Chicken Inn, but the doctor tried to urge him to go over to any bar instead. But while they were arguing about it, I decided I was going to take the whole thing over. And when I came back, they'd gone.
So you've got this story, yeah? You're lying, and we know it.
Mr. Wilson, I never lie.
That's all this guy is. He's a pack of lies. You don't seriously believe the doctor's been running around all bars. You don't believe this cock and bull story he's giving us.
Maybe he isn't lying, Wilson.
What? And Dr. Chumley's running around the bar with a giant invisible 6-foot rabbit.
Dr. Chumley did go over to Charlie's place.
Bullshit.
And why not? I mean, Harvey was there. The doctor seemed a little frightened of Harvey at first, but it turned into admiration as the evening wore on. As the evening wore on. Now that's his famous expression. With your permission, I'll say it again. As the evening wore on.
Run your teeth down your throat.
Oh, Mr. Wilson, haven't you got a small friend you can go away and play with? Wilson! It's still very stimulating, but I'm afraid I really must be going.
Charlie's place? Yes. Is Dr. Chumley there? He was there with Mr. Dowd earlier this evening. What? Well, you don't have to bite my head off about it. Why, man, isn't that? He said Mr. Dowd can go back any time he likes, but Dr. Chumley is not welcome.
That's mad. Listen, we're naughty. The bartender. Now, he's got a cosy spot. Let's all go down there and have a drink.
Wait a minute.
Mr. Dowd.
Miss Kelly, may I hold your hand?
Yes. Mrs. Chumley is very worried. Something must have happened to the doctor. Now, will you please try and remember something? Anything at all that might help us. Please?
Oh, Miss Kelly, I would do anything in the world for you. I'd almost be willing to live my life all over again. Almost. At all.
Sure?
Quite sure. But, won't you ask me again? I love that warm tone in your voice when you asked me just now. I beg your pardon?
No.
Oh, very good with a glass of port. Now, I must be going. I have things to do.
What is it you do, Mr. Dowd?
Well, we sit in the bars, have a drink or two, play the jukebox. The faces of the other people turn towards me and they smile. They're saying, "We don't know your name, mister, but you're all right." Harvey and I warm ourselves in these golden moments. We came as strangers, soon we have friends. They come over, they sit with us, they drink with us, they talk to us. They tell us about all the great, big, terrible things they've done, and all the great, big, wonderful things they're going to do. Their hopes, their regrets, their loves, their hates, all very large. Because nobody ever brings anything small into a bar. And then I introduce them to Harvey. And he's bigger and grander than anything they can offer me. And when they leave impressed. The same people seldom come back. That's envy, my dear. There's a little bit of envy in the best of us. Too bad, isn't it?
Now, Mr. Dowd, how did you happen to call him Harvey?
Harvey's his name.
Yes, but how did you know?
Now that is a very interesting coincidence. I was walking down Fairfax Street one night several years ago. Do you know him?
Yes, Mr. Dowd.
Well, I just finished helping Ed Hickey into a taxi. Ed had been mixing his drinks and I felt he had convey it. And I walked down the street and I hear this voice say, "Good evening, Mr. Dowd." And I turned and there's this great big white rabbit leaning against the lamppost. Well, I thought nothing of that. Because when you've lived in a town as long as I've lived in this one, you get used to the fact that everybody knows your name. I went over to chat. He said, "I might be mistaken, but Ed's a bit spiffed tonight." Now, of course, he wasn't mistaken. I think the world of Ed, but he was spiffed. So we went on talking, and finally I said, "You have the advantage of me, sir. You know my name, but I know yours." And right back at me, he said, "What name do you like?" Well, I'd have to think a minute. Harvey had always been my favourite name. So I said to him, "Harvey." And now, this is the most interesting part of the whole thing. He said, "What a coincidence. My name happens to be Harvey."